thank you all for being here this evening to the Indigenous Ways Wisdom Circle. Just before we kick off this evening's show, we want to acknowledge the traditional caretakers and ancestors of these lands that we reside on here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is the Pueblo. And also take this opportunity to, wherever you are beaming in from this evening, to acknowledge the caretakers and ancestors of the lands that you are on, so we could all be here this evening. Thank you.
And we also always want to acknowledge Indigenous Ways, our nonprofit, which is dedicated to bridging cultural exchange with people globally. Wednesday evenings tonight. Hi, Mom. Hi, Harry. Love you. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting us on Black Mountain. We just want to say that Wednesday night is a very special night. We have very, very significant, sacred people that are doing something spectacular and significant with their life, leaving a light foot on Mother Earth as they walk through this lifetime. And that's Wednesday nights, 6 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time. And then on Friday evenings, for the month of August, we have performers that like to sing, write songs, produce. We like
poetry.
We like poetry. We like humor. We like comedy.
Humor, very important.
Anything that's really cool. And the only thing that's required is a good high Wi-Fi speed. So as long as we got that, we can bring people onto this wonderful platform. So please continue to support Indigenous Ways.
Thank you so much. So it's a great honor that you are all here with us this evening, and that's all.
And we'd like to give a very, very special welcome to a very wonderful, dear friend of ours, Vijali Hamilton. And her sign name is like V because she's very creative. That's Vijali's sign name. She was gifted a sign name by a deaf person many years ago.
And Vijali, you're on mute.
Vijali is a world known artist. She does all mediums of art. She has always done art. She has believed in art, and Mother Earth, Father Sky have provided her with all the nourishments she needs. And I wish that we could spend the whole evening listening to Vijali's life story from the moment she was born to right now today where she's at. But unfortunately, we only have about 40 minutes to hear from Vijali. So hopefully we get to hear about Vijali's life story. I've heard it. I've read it. She's got books. It's fascinating. I'd love to hear it again. But, we're just going to give it up to Vijali and see how she's dealing in these times and what's her rising and resilient modem that she's going on. Thank you, Vijali. Everybody give it up for Vijali Hamilton.
Beautiful. Woo! Vijali.
Hello. Wonderful to be here with my dear friends, Elena and Tosh. It's just so special, and I'm so happy to be back home here. I've been in India every year going, and I feel like I need my energies here of what's going on. And so here we are all together, struggling with a new type of life and learning from it. Finding out what our future may be or may not be. So I'll just tell you a little about myself. I feel that all of us, what we do in our adult life has a lot to do with our childhood. Maybe what we don't have or what we do have influences and decisions that we make form what we are today or what we're doing. And my childhood, I was abandoned when I was 2 years old. And since 2 years I hadn't lived with my mother and father, I would cry every night holding the picture of my mother, weeping and wanting a home. And I was placed in different childcare homes that didn't seem to work out. I was moved around. and longing for this home. And then as I got older, always doing art, I remember my first scribbles on paper and thinking, that's what I want to do, even when I was 3 or 4 years old. And I've continued with the arts. And also, as an adult, I was seeking, not even conscious, but I was seeking family. And one night, I had a dream, and I saw myself in this dream going around the world using the arts that I've always done with sculpture, painting, writing, music, just all of the arts, and creating a bond, a world family, and spreading information from one culture to the other, and leaving my art as a gift in these different communities. Well, I don't want to tell you everything because I have a short film, a 6-minute film I like to show you, and then we can talk afterwards. And I would like to hear your questions and your thoughts, and we can continue this dialogue. So, Elena, let's go on to this film, The World Will Journeys.
I began a journey that was prompted by a dream to go around the world and live in many cultures, carrying on my work as an artist. I saw myself creating stone carvings in wilderness areas in many different lands and involving the local people in some theater piece or ceremony. I wanted to go back to the origins of art, when sculpture and theater were not a commodity, but were a natural expression of the struggles and solutions of the community. I felt the dream was showing me a way to bring peace and understanding into the world through the arts. I didn't know how to begin until one day I was looking at a world globe and put my finger on California and turned the globe, keeping the same parallel, and I realized at that moment that this was the circle of my dream. When I left to start my pilgrimage, I sold my car and the few possessions I had and began really as a homeless person.
There's another woman called Ellie who's joined.
To do when I go to a place is really draw out the visions and the deepest dreams of the people in the area. I ask 3 questions. What is your essence? Who are you in the deepest part of yourself? And the second question is, what is the problem? Why are we not living that deepest part? And the third question, what is the solution? What can unfold that essence?
El mundo actual, la tecnología moderna se olvida de la madre naturaleza, pues las grandes industrias, las grandes fábricas, a la vez van dañando lo que es la naturaleza. Si algún día se da el fin del mundo, no es que Dios nos envía un castigo, sino es que nosotros mismos, nosotros las personas de todo el mundo, estamos destruyendo al mundo.
I feel great hope for our planet. May we meditate on the luminous source I traveled with all the different people I met, we rediscovered that at source we're all the same. We are fruits of the tree of life. Can you tell me, friend, what difference is there, Hindu or Muslim, Israeli or Palestinian, man or woman? Blood is red. Each heart beats the rhythm of shared life. The work of the sculptures and performances continue, as well as the development of wisdom centers, to preserve the indigenous cultures and create a crucible for the knowledge that is necessary for the future of our planet.
Okay, Vijali.
All right. Um, looking at the film, it just brought me back to my very early questionings. It was my first trip to India, and I was in a temple that I thought was so beautiful, and there were beggars that came, and leopards came showing me their non-hands and begging. And I started giving just little coins to everyone that came up. And pretty soon there were a crowd of beggars around me. And then the priest ran out of the temple. He said, "That's very dangerous. That's very dangerous. You can't give to these people. Stop." And he took me back to the temple, and he took me out a back door and said, "Don't come back." And that just started that question. I was very young, and what can I do? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a politician. Um, I'm an artist. What is it that I can do? And that question just stayed in me. And I think that when that dream came to me and I saw what I could do as an artist, and I started I feel my life work, because I'm still working in this way, and maybe I hope I die on my feet. That's the way I want to die, working in this way. And so I just want to put this out for all of us. I think whatever we are, whatever talent we have, or whoever we are, we can put our own personal energy into the world. And I think that that is what will really help us change uh, change our way of living in what is not working on the planet, what is destroying the earth, and species are leaving this planet. But I think if we all, just from our hearts and our talent of whatever it is, can reach out, uh, I think this COVID-19, in a sense, is a doorway. There's a lot of suffering going on, and I know that there will be a lot more. But it's also a doorway for change, and I feel it's up to us It's not happening with the politicians, but it can happen with all of us together. So that is what I would like to say. And I would like to invite questions. You can do the chat here. And if you have any things that you would like to talk about that the film has in, uh, brought out a question in your own life, or something you'd like to discuss, or you'd like me to discuss, feel free to bring that chat, and I will read it, and we can move in the direction that you would like to talk or like to hear. So until I don't see any chats yet. Come on. I've just barely got back from India. I was working in India, building a school in a village. And I've been going every year for the last 3 or 4 years. And it is just now completed. So I'm very, very happy with that. And I'm happy also to be back here, because I barely got in before the COVID-19 really took off. And I just want to say I just admire so much what Tasha and Elena are doing, bringing supplies to Black Mountain, to Tasha's family lives there. And I know that the Navajo Nation have had a lot of problems, and I think they're doing better now. And I just, my dear friends, I just admire what they are doing, and I would like in some small way to join them and join what's happening and needed here in this country. So
Yeah, I've got Vijali. This is Tosh. I've got a
yes.
question to
Oh,
guide this discussion that you're requesting. So
yes,
everybody, Vijali
yes.
wants this to be a little bit of a intimate interaction. So she's inviting everybody to join in on her chat and type your questions in, and she'd like to answer them and expound on it. So rather than chat, since Elena has the keyboard, I'm going to just ask. What I'm going to ask Vijali is, how is the coronavirus, because I was speaking to my mother this morning before we left the Navajo Nation, and she said that medicine man said the coronavirus is a virus that has ears and can hear us when we speak to it or about it. And I'm sure the Navajo medicine men have these wonderful beyond quantum physics ideas about what's going on right now. I wish I could meet one right now as we speak. But how is this affecting, motivating your creative process with your art movement? Is it making you sad? Are you going into darkness? Are you feeling hopeful? Are you going into light? Are you creating, or are you stuck? How are you
Yes.
staying moving
No,
through the...
I don't feel stuck. In fact, I'm just passionately creating. I'm painting, I'm sculpting, I'm working on a film about the Bowels, because where I built the school for them, because they are people who live with all religions, nationalities. They are so embracive of life, and I feel that that is what is needed at this life. So I'm making a film trying to present their philosophy, and well, and I've been writing a lot of poetry, and I just think on that subject of coronavirus, I think I would, Tosh, to answer you, I think I'll just read one of my poems, because it will answer you. It's called In the Days of Uncertainty. In the days of uncertainty of COVID-19, may my innermost being stand steady. You are my only shelter and peace. You are my only guide. You are my only freedom. In the days of ventilators, hallucinogens of our worst fears arise. But will I have the strength to say no to that journey? And yes, to the journey of possible death. In the days of sickness and fear, will I hear the call of eternity? Will some inner base of myself rise through fear and smoke to that still voice and breath? In the days of loss and despair, may I see gain of consciousness galloping like a blazing horse through smoke and fog, from leaderless confusion to a basic love and truth of all life. In the days of search for new ways to connect, new ways to show love, may we gather new voice, new vision, new ways of being, new purpose of love, embracing all life as our own. So this is my thoughts of what is going on now, is that it is difficult, but it is an opportunity to reevaluate our life and to change our lives, deepen our lives, deepen our connection with community. So does that answer,
Yes,
Tosh?
thank you very much. Okay, and if nobody asks any more questions, I'm going to ask you a question because I don't see any questions in the chat box. Um, do you feel like telling us about your early beginnings?
Well, yes, I did very briefly uh, about my abandonment, and I feel that I really am grateful for every moment of my life, no matter what I've gone through. I feel that life is a teacher, and especially the difficult moments that we sometimes learn more and we become a larger person because of those difficult moments, because we are stretched. And that, I think, happened to me. I was very sad child and wanting my parents and my mother and father. And I developed my art because it was a communication. I could always go to that paper and that crayon and colors, and I could put my soul into that, even if I was lonely and insecure. And then I grew up very, very shy because I didn't have that support around me. And I think the art uh, lifted me. It was something that connected my soul, and it could connect with the world. So it was like a bridge, and it was my teacher also, because I would see back from the art uh, what my thoughts were or who I was. And so I right now is another moment of difficult time in on this planet, and yet I feel that wonderful things will come from it, are coming from it this very moment, if we just see it. So
Thank
Tosh.
you. Thank you. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks for that, Vijali. This is Elena. You know, I love what you have done in your walk. Thank you. And just with what you have addressed of how you've thrived and flourished through your art from pain you know, there's many of us in the world today with what's going on, fear, uncertainty, not knowing what is going on, no jobs, etc., etc. This is a good time for transition. It's easier said than done. So this is my question for you and for others who are hearing you or seeing your video that we just saw. Maybe if you can step us through possible transformations of what you may have done, like what made it different for you to do what you are doing now, which is traveling around the world with your art. I want to do that. I have no idea how to do that. Perhaps what if you can share the steps of courage of what you did to be where you are today. And as this goes on, particularly now, you said, I'm really excited because it deepens your tapping into creation, particularly in this time of more upheaval and uncertainty.
Yes, well, when I began, I had that dream, the idea, but we all have uh, wonderful dreams that we would like to live, but you don't just wake up and pack your bag. So it took me some time to figure out how do I do this? And as in the film, just looking at that globe, it just came all of a sudden. These were the countries of my dream. And then I did pack my bag, but people didn't understand it. I mean, people would say, why don't you just get a studio and settle down? I find when you really have an epiphany that the people closest to you don't understand, they want to hold you where you are, especially a relationship or parents. They're the last people that really understand what you're doing. And so friends, just no one could understand. And also, I couldn't communicate exactly what it was. It's only in retrospect then friends, oh yes, Vijali's doing this, but only, and I say this as a guide for other people, that you have to give yourself permission. You can't wait for the husband or parents or friends to give you permission to do your dream. You have to inside know, yes, this is what my life is about, and this is what I'm to do. And you give yourself permission and don't bother what other people are saying. And after you jump in, I mean, I had no money, and I think it was important that I had no money because sometimes people say, oh, if I had money, I would do this. I would, yes, if I had money. But I didn't have money. I don't think it's the money. I think it's the vision and commitment of your own inner voice telling you what to do. And that once you start and just jump in, I mean, I didn't have hardly anything. I sold my car to be able to go to the first country. I gave other things away, so I didn't have any base in the States, and just started. And then kind of halfway through, I ran out of money. And then Rockefeller's daughter, I got a note saying, oh, I want to give you this money. Would you just fill out this paper? And she gave me some money to continue. The Earthways Foundation gave me some money to continue. And so that way I started, and I'm still doing it. And I'm just, I find that what I feel I'm really meant to do in this world, the money comes, that maybe just enough to be able to do that thing. And so just having that faith in yourself, faith in that voice inside, uh, and acting on it, I think is so important. And everything else around it falls into place. The money does come to do it. And the situation opens so you can do it. But only if you take that risk and jump in. So those are my thoughts.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Vijali. And again, Vijali is wanting to do something very different that we've not done on our platform, which is invite people to talk, and nobody's talking. So I've got a million questions for Vijali. And my next question to Vijali is, can you talk to us about meditation? How did you get into it? Some of your teachers, and how is it helping you then, and how is it helping you now? Are you still doing
Yes,
it?
yes, that's a wonderful question. Thank you, Tosh, for asking. Yes, I early one thing that kind of changed my helped my earlier life as a teenager. I was put in a boarding school from the age of 10 to 14, and then I was introduced uh, to Vedanta, which is a very ancient foundation of Hinduism, very similar to Buddhism. Uh, and I got very interested at 14, and then I wanted to become a nun because there was a convent and a teacher, and a guru. And so I did. I kind of begged if I could come. First, they thought I was too young, but I did. And I finished my high school through the university extension. And it was the nuns were living in Santa Barbara. And I was there for 10 years, and I studied meditation. I studied all the scriptures. It's because Vedanta is very universal, saying that all paths, Muslim, Sufi, Christians, Native, they all lead to the same consciousness of being aware of our divinity. And so I'm grateful for that. And then leaving, I did want to leave. I left with the same passion as I went in, and I think it was very important because I was feeling I didn't I wanted to embrace the whole of the world, not just that little life that we had that was kind of semi-cloistered. It was fine for a time, but I feel when that compassion opens, it does move you out into the world to embrace what is happening in the world. And so I did leave. I finished my college education, got a master's, and continued my art. But I feel that until I had that dream and started my world wheel, global peace through the arts, I call it, uh, that reason for leaving the continent, wanting to embrace the world, didn't happen until that moment when I started my life work. And going back to the meditation, yes, I do still meditate. I feel, especially now, I think it's so important just to have these simple tools. It can be a very simple meditation, but just to calm the mind, just to be centered. And I think when the mind is calmed, we have illumination. We're born with illumination. It's our heritage. We don't have to seek it. In fact, if you seek it, it always runs away. But when you can become still enough, that innate wisdom just rises naturally. And whatever, there are all kinds in the world of teachers and techniques, and you can be drawn to one way, and that's good. to go into that and to use it. But the purpose of it is to open up that divinity in yourself. And when you do that, you realize that we are all one. We all have that divinity. And just like in science, we know everything is connected in the whole universe. Emotionally, we haven't realized that yet. But in meditation, you can have glimpses of that, how we are connected with all of life, with all people. And that's where the bodhisattva, the Buddhist bodhisattva idea is of compassion. Then you want to find ways to help people because they're your own. There's no separation. And whatever religion people are, it doesn't matter. It's all moving toward the same purpose. And so yes, I would say do meditate, especially now. And then the the anxiety and fear that is brought on us by this very dangerous and real situation, you can go deeper and know yourself in a clearer way because of that. Tosh, does that
Wow.
answer?
Yes, I'm going to ask anybody if they've got one more question, because if they don't, I will. I'm going to count to 10. Okay, I know people are going to come on in a few minutes, so I'll ask this last question. So, the gentleman that came from India back in, I think, in the late 1800s. Oh, okay, hold on. The gentleman that came from India, was his name Vivekananda or something like that?
Yes, Vivekananda.
What was his goal coming to this country with the Vedanta philosophy? What did he hope to capture, and did he want to turn America into India, or did he want to let India people? Can you talk a little bit about that? I know that's a deep question.
Yes. Well, Vivekananda was what part of the order that I entered. So his teacher, Ramakrishna, was the main saint of that order, and Vivekananda was really the main spokesman. And when he came to the States, he had hardly any money, and he spoke at the uh, World uh, Gathering of Religions, and um, and started developing friends here. And his idea was not for people to become Hindu, because Vedanta really is, you don't have to be Hindu or any religion. It really goes to the core of who you are. It's an experimental. It's not to believe in anything. It's for you to experience and find yourself, what relationship you do have with Brahman or God or Allah or the divine. That is real. What your relationship is. And so it is quite universal. But the interesting thing is that he found the women extraordinary, and they were very instrumental in him finding outlets in the United States to live and speak, and they recorded his works, which are now published. And he was very impressed with the American women. And I think that was very important. But as most religions are, they're patriarchal. And I think some of that, what he really wanted to happen, didn't happen. But we won't go into that.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Vijali. That's so beautiful. Okay, well, I just want to just say how much that me and Elena have always respected and admired your walk and your art, your expression, your multi-genres, and most of all, in your belief in Mother Earth and Father Sky, that Mother Earth and Father Sky will provide for you no matter where you are, wherever you are, like Elena says when she travels the world before she met me, wherever she lands, she is home. If she's in the air, she's also home. Flying in a in an airplane, she's home. So I really, really like that concept. That is the broader sense of where is home? Well, Mother Earth, and that's you, Vijali. So thank you very much. And if anybody's interested in learning more, get Vijali's book. It is wild. You would be blown away by this woman's story. Oh my God, she went from being living in a orphanage to being a nun at age 14 in a Vedanta society in Santa Barbara, California. And 10 years later, she found herself in art school in Canada. And the story just continues and hasn't stopped. Vijali's still moving on. And she's one of my greatest motivators to just, whenever the going gets rough, man, just be resilient, get up and rise, man, just shake the stuff off and keep going. So my favorite story is when you were living up in the mountains and you shared some space with some other four-leggeds in a cave. That's a pretty fascinating story. So people, please get her book. It's amazing, and I think, Mom, you should get it. If you want it, I'll get it for you. I don't have any around. I don't know what. I think I gave them away, but. Without much more to say, although we do have everything to say, I'm going to pass it over to Elena.
Thanks for that. And thank you, Vijali, for blessing us in the wisdom and circle this evening, especially with your walk, and especially during these times of total uncertainty and what you did once upon a time, but it's continued in your walk with the world wheel. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted you, through the Indigenous Ways Wisdom Circle, to share that incredible wisdom, not only in putting the dreaming out, but how to transform and transfer that into a reality. So thank you. And if you are in Zoom, and you've taken this in and you may have thoughts, what we're going to do before we bring everyone in, we're going to go into what's going on with us. So on Friday, this coming Friday, at the Indigenous Ways concert series, we have the beautiful Shelley Morningsong and her extraordinary husband, Fabian Fontanelli. They are an extraordinary pair. They travel the world. Shelley is a multiple award-winning musician. They're going to be blessing us through song, through story, through dance. So they're going to be here on Friday, and we'd love for you to join us for that.
And we're also really excited for next week. We have our beautiful sister. I call her Carla. Her sign name is C on the side of the lip, but she's actually Dr. Carla Garcia Fernandez. And I say that with great respect and great pride. This is the woman that welcomed me into the deaf world back in the day at the New Mexico School for the Deaf. She worked there. She went on, got her PhD, fell in love, and now she's just doing all kinds of stuff around intersectionality. That's one of her big studies. She teaches. She's just gone big league, and but she's also very not only elegant, but she's also very humble, and she's very beautiful. She's profoundly deaf. Born deaf, and we're going to have her next week. So really excited about that. So
we are very excited. And also, these are possible. We kicked the Indigenous Ways virtual events off on the 1st of April because of this pandemic. And the whole idea was circles, bringing everyone together like we are now. We're grateful that you're all on, whether you're beaming in through the Zoom or through our social networks, or you're watching a recording of this. Thank you so much and being here. But this is actually possible through our sponsors, which include the First Peoples Fund, the National Endowment of the Arts, New Mexico Arts, and the Santa Fe Arts and Culture Department. And our Wisdom Circle, which is on Wednesday, where we are now, also includes the sponsors, the New Mexico Humanities Council, as well as the National Endowments of Humanities. We also have many individual donors who support not only our presenters, the artists, but also the interpreters. So all of our events have been and will continue to have ASL interpreters, American Sign Language interpreters, to make access available for all. You can also see these, they've been recorded on our website, IndigenousWays.org. Virtual events, there you'll see, I think we've got over 38 presenters thus far, and in the next 24 hours, Vijali will be up there. So if you want to share her, please do. And we're also at our website, you can click on to our newsletter, which goes out. What you've been seeing down below has been our social networks. So if you're on, please like us or subscribe to us. Believe it or not, we're in August, how quickly the time flies. So what we have now, and obviously we're so honored to have Vijali from the World Wheel Project with us this evening, but these are our extraordinary artists and guests who we'll have through the Wisdom Circle and also through the concert series this month. If you want to know more about these individuals, you can go to our website, IndigenousWays.org, events, and there is more information specifically about those artists, who they are, their website, and all of those incredible things. If you want to donate to our website, if you want to donate, we have our donate through PayPal and also Venmo. There's our physical address, or on our website we have our donate page. So please support us so we can keep doing this.
And we'd also like to just tell everybody how grateful we are for supporting us for our ongoing trips to Black Mountain. It all started so serendipitously, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but spontaneously. A friend asked us where her friends from California could donate for the Navajo Nation, and I went, Black Mountain! And this was back in, April, May, June?
Middle of May.
Middle of May. And all of a sudden, a whole bunch of stuff started getting dropped off here at our garage. And then more and more stuff started, and we go, oh my God, we're not going to be able to fit this in the truck. So we actually had to find a trailer to haul it, all the stuff up there, and then contacting the chapter house and saying, can you please open the door? And they're like, no, it's all closed because of coronavirus on the mountain. And we're like, well, we've got all this stuff, lots of cleaning supplies and toilet paper and all this stuff, and non-perishable stuff that doesn't have to be refrigerated. So the guy at the chapter house said, yeah, we'll open it. So they opened it, and that's where it all started. And now we just finished our 4th run, and it was the most sacred of all because we were able to take 55-gallon drums to 8 different sheep camps. And we were able to take hand washing stations, so graciously made by our sister Robin. And we were able to get a whole team of guys on the mountain to all these trucks following each other for the manpower to pull these 55-gallon drums off the trucks and land them on tires, because it means a lot of weight. So you take it off the truck and they just get with a rope, and then it lands on the tire. And then at that point we had our Chinle health worker, who I hope is here with us tonight, Lynn Dean, who came to tutor along with Elena the elders on how to use these hand washing stations, which is pretty interesting and intricate and simple at the same time. But nonetheless, it was really a team coming together of community building on Black Mountain with relatives and just people that live up on that mountain. And their main goal is they want to wash their hands because there's no running water up there. Their main goal is they want water for their sheep and their animals. And their main goal is they want it to rain They pray for rain. And then just being up there off the grid on dirt road and going through that, I just went, man, I want to be back up here. This is where I want to live. Mom, can I just not go back to Santa Fe and stay with you? My mom's like, yeah, sure. Your home is here. Anyways, that was the greatest trip. So thank you all for supporting us.
I also just want to give a huge shout out. A lot of you know this was our 4th run
In
to
honor of my grandma.
Black Mountain on the Navajo Nation. In honor, as Tash said, to her grandmother, Margaret Dalton. And we started this, as Tash was saying, the middle of May, thanks to a very good friend. And thanks to you, the community, the 4 runs that we've done, we've been able to raise over $25,000 from mid-May to now and take up all these essential goods. Now, this was not possible without your love, support, and prayers. And in this extraordinary time, like Vijali was talking about, just putting that intention out there. We didn't intend to go at all, but we've just come back a few hours ago from the 4th run.
We're tired.
We left on Monday and we just got in a couple of hours ago. And even though Tash says we're tired, we are so filled in our hearts and soul because we spent 10 hours taking these hand washing stations, and if you've got bionic eyes, you'll be able to see that in the shot next to us of just a few clips of the U-Haul trailer that we took jam-packed with goods, as well as the back of our truck, which was filled with some of the water tanks, the tanks getting filled, and then going around to all these different campsites, as Taj said, and showing people how to use them. And so this was only possible because of each and every one of you. And this ties into what Vijali was talking about, having this incredible intention. My intention was actually to stay home. I'm such a homebody. But the incredible prayers, the incredible love and support by a beloved community to make not only the first trip happen, the second, the third, but this 4th trip that we've just came home 2 hours ago, that was because of each and every one of you. To be able to support these 50 families, to help feed them, to give emergency supplies. So we feel extremely honored and blessed. And that short clip that Vijali showed you of her trailer, she's on her 3rd World Wheel project, doing 18 countries in each World Wheel. And it's from prayer, it's from love. And like what she shared to you, there was someone that said to her, Rockefeller, hey, I want to support you. Like, we don't know where it's coming from, but as long as we put that out there. Now, in saying that, this is that wonderful time where we're going to encourage our Zoomsters to come in. So if you want to flick on your camera, that's this time. You might have questions, or you might want to give Vijali a comment. If you are in the social networks, please string up some questions that you might want to ask, or comments that you might want to ask Vijali. And Tash, you wanted to say something while people are popping in.
I just want to say in Navajo, we say, Wishtan. That means welcome. All right. Our first Wishtan welcomer. Yeah. Christina. Caleb. All right. Our beautiful sisters. Okay. Who wants to start? Christina, you want to start? Can't hear you, Cynthia. Hold on.
I really liked your comment. I learned about meditation yesterday, and I was understanding about how you said about meditating and how to give yourself permission and not ask anybody. And that's exactly right. I learned how to to give myself that release from what I'm struggling with. So really, I'm happy to hear that again, because that can help me practice mindfulness.
Yes.
And I really
Wonderful.
want to thank you for bringing it up. And Tosh, thank you for bringing her. Thank you. I want to learn more. And I want to ask you, what was the name of your book? Can you give me the name of your book?
Yes, is my voice?
If you can
you
type
hear
the
my
name
voice?
of it, please. Yes.
World. Can you hear me? I don't know if my voice is being
Yes,
heard.
we can, Vich.
We can hear you.
Oh,
We
okay.
can hear you.
Oh, World Wheel Journeys. One Woman's Quest for Peace.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. It was a really good presentation. And I know that we are not all the same. Or we're not all alone. I'm not alone. I live here alone, but I know that I'm not technically alone.
Yes.
And then
yes.
we are all the same.
Yes. Thank you so much for your interpretation. I just so appreciate it. Both Cynthia and Anna did this wonderful translation. It's such an art. To me, it's
Christina, for your remarks, and yeah, great.
Are there going to be any more mountain gatherings that you know of? Vijali?
Mountain gatherings.
You had a gathering last year on a.
Oh yes, I have a retreat just half an hour outside of Santa Fe on the top of a mesa, and I have gatherings once a month and meditations, and I teach just a very simple meditation. We meditate and offer that to the world, and we concentrate on what is happening at the moment and offer that. But now we don't have gatherings, but as soon as we can, yes, I will continue.
So, Vijali is based in Santa Fe, New Mexico, for those people who aren't aware. And Vijali has been doing, as she said, some wonderful retreats and also gatherings and circles and ceremony, which has been very beautiful out on her property.
All right, this is Tosh speaking. Hilda, would you like to say a few words to Vijali?
Hold on. Thank you for sharing your experience. It was really wonderful. It's really inspiring. Wow. Thank you. And bless you. And thank you to all. And thank you, Tosh and Elena, for providing. And also the interpreters. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Love you.
Thank you, interpreters. Yes.
Thank you, Hilda. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Hilda. We love you. And Christine.
Oh, this is a question coming in from our social media page. It's Linda Roden. Actually, she's out in Australia, in far north Queensland. So, hey, Linda, thanks for beaming in. She says, where can we see your art?
I have a website, and you can go to, there are different links on the website. And if you go to Vijali's shop, you'll see all the individual artworks, but also you'll see the art in every country. It's on the website. So There's a lot of material there, as well as all the newsletters. I always write a newsletter every time I come back from a country with photos and sometimes little videos.
Did you
Beautiful. Thank
start?
you for that. I just want to say I've also stuck in the chat box, also through the social media, dropped all of Vijali's website, worldwheel.org. There's her Facebook. Be sure to like that, which is worldwheel.vijalihamilton, and also her YouTube channel where you can pick up some of those great things. Thank you. Sorry, I interrupted someone.
I think I
Oh,
did
I was
that
just
too.
going to say thank you for all, thank Vijali, and thank you, Elena and Tash.
Oh,
Love
Thanks,
you.
Marcia, for
right.
popping on. Great to see you. And I also want to
Yes.
give a shout out to Pat Walker, who's also beamed in.
Oh, oh, great.
Hey, Pat, how you doing? This is Tosh. Miss you.
Anyway, we're at the top of the hour. Has anyone else in our Zoom or social media got any other questions or comments for Vijali, or just to check in? If not, what we will end up doing is wrapping up. So is there anyone who has any comments? Okay, we've got a shy bunch on, and we know there's a lot of people behind the cameras. So thank you, those people that were brave enough to turn on their cameras. Just want to take this time now, and for everyone, I just want to make sure there's nothing that I've missed on social media. We want to take this time and say these events are only possible because of you. Taking the time, whether you're watching the recording, whether you are beaming and streaming in live, whether that be through our social networks, the Facebook, the Yahoo, the Twitter, the Instagram, the tweet, the Twitter pages. So thank you so much for your time and synergy in making that happen. We also want to thank our interpreters this evening, one being Anna McMillian and the other one being Cynthia Huron. So let's give it up for our interpreters and making access available for everyone.
Yes.
But also in this extraordinary walk that she has done, please, let's give it up for the one and only Vijali Hamilton, the World Wheel Project.
And I'm going to urge everybody, to just, as soon as you hang up, go to worldwheel.org and plan on spending some time. That's just really easy, worldwheel.org. It's pages and pages long of different of her artwork, her story, her bio. It's a fascinating website. So I do encourage everybody to go to worldwheel.org to learn more about Vijali. So thank you very much, Vijali. We love you. We love your walk. Take care. Stay safe. And let's put on our masks and let's visit.
Beautiful. So thanks everyone for beaming in. Be sure that you go to Vijali's website, as Tash mentioned before. She has got all her books, her videos, her music are there.
Worldwheel.org,
to
everybody.
keep her in this extraordinary path that she has been doing with the World Wheel Project. You can also communicate to her through her website and also through her social media pages. So please be sure to do that. This video and the recording is going to be available in the next 24 hours. So if you want to get onto our website, IndigenousWays.org, just sign up to our newsletter. It goes out twice a week. Otherwise, we're going to be looking forward to seeing you with Shelley Morningsong and her incredible husband, Fabian Fontanelli. That's on Friday, same time, same channel. Other than that, before we give Vijali one more round of applause, Tash.
Mom and Harry, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for coming to every single one of our shows. Thank you for hosting us on Black Mountain and feeding us, Mom. I love you. I miss you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And thank you, Christina in New York City. You're always here for every single show. And Hilda and Christine, Caleb, Wow. You all are just our rocks for this platform. Thank you. We
Thank
love
you,
you.
Peter and Ali, for coming on. And if you're new, thank you for coming on to this format. We're going to be back. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. And with that, let's please give it up one more time for Vijali Hamilton, World Wheel Project.
Wear your mask.
Huge.
Yes,
Safe and
wear
make
your
lots of
mask.
trouble. We love you all.
Let's make good trouble. New York City,
So
no
here in New York City, it's been the first time in 3 days we've had no deaths related to coronavirus. No
Amazing.
COVID-19 deaths.
Great
Oh,
leadership.
good.
It's really important. Maintain your social distancing and wear your mask.
Great leadership.
Mm.
And
Thank
stay
you.
safe.
Mm.
You too,
Love you
Christina.
guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody,
Thank
this
you,
is
interpreters.
Christina from New York City, and she lives in New York City. And New York City, 3 days, no coronavirus deaths. That is a good sign, you guys. Thank you, Christina. We're glad to hear that. That makes us very, very happy.
And Caleb, great to see
Yes.
you. Good night, everyone. Be well. Thank you, Vijali. We love you.